You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 16th meeting for the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon. We are calling this meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety to order. The date is Monday, June 16th, 2025, and the time is 4 p.m. We'll call roll. Mr. Simmons.
Present.
Ms. Smith.
Present.
Ms. Moore.
Present.
Attorney LePage.
Here.
Skylar York is absent and Candace Tisdale is present. Our first order of business is the approval of minutes, the regular hybrid Zoom meeting on June 2nd. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. Our next order of business is the opening of bids. Opening of bids for the demolition of 901 Manhattan Street, 904 Elston Street, and 120 West Custer Ave. And I'll turn this over to Attorney LePage.
Madam President, before you do, you may want to make a call in the audience to see if there's anybody that would like to submit a bid for these demolitions. And if not, then formally make a motion to close the receiving of bids.
And we will do that. Do we have any more bids in the audience for any of these properties? Anyone else looking to submit a bid? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the bidding process.
Motion to close the bids. Support.
I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Okay, so we've got several bids here, so bear with me here for a second. So the first set is from Smith and Sons. It looks like they may have submitted their EEO packet under a separate, can you hear me okay? Okay, under a separate sealed envelope. So the first one I'm opening here is 120 West Custer Ave. And again, it's from Smith and Sons. It's in the amount of $21,000. And I think this is just a duplicate EEO packet from the same contractor, but let me just double check. It is, it's just a duplicate EEO packet. Okay. And then we have Smith and Sons again with their duplicate EEO packet on 901 Manhattan Street. And the bid is in the amount of $29,000. And again, I just double checked. This is their duplicate EEO packet. And the third one is again from Smith and Sons on 904 Elston Street. Okay, the second one is their duplicate EEO packet. And it's in the amount of $21,000. Okay, next bidder is J. Schaffner General Contracting, Inc., and this is for 901 Manhattan Street. It's in the amount of $26,400. Again, bid from J.S. Schaffner General Contractor, Inc. for 904 Elston Street. It's in the amount of $22,600. Third one from JSG J. Schaffner General Contractor, Inc. And this is for the 120 West Custer Street. It's in the amount of $24,500. Next is a bid submitted by Acting Contracting LLC. This is 901 Manhattan Street. It's in the amount of $27,130. Another one from Acting Contracting LLC for 904 Elston Street. It's in the amount of $18,150. Last one from Acting Contracting LLC for 120 West Custer Ave. $12,700. All right, next are bids from Green Demo. This is for 120 West Custer Ave. In the amount of $19,800. Again, green demo, this is 901 Manhattan Street. $18,800. Green demo, 904 Elston Street. $18,800. And the last one is from Beaver Excavating. It looks like they've included all three of these, 904 Elston Street, 901 Manhattan Street, 120 West Custer Ave, all in this sealed envelope. Uh, 901 Manhattan Street is a bid of $24,750. 904 Elston Street is a bid of $24,750. And the same is 120 West Custer Ave, $24,750. And that's it, Madam President. I would just ask that this be referred to my office and Planning and Inspection Department for further review and recommendation.
Thank you, Attorney LePage. I'm going to open this up, or do we have any questions or comments from the board? No? All right, I'll open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Hello, board. Scott Melland, 200 Kenwood Place. You're all looking well this middle of June. I don't know anything about these particular properties. I don't know how far gone they are, and I'm sure they're pretty far gone that they've made it this far into the process. But I would submit an idea that may not work for these three. But perhaps going forward, instead of incurring the cost of the city, we must have taken these already legally. So there's quite a process. But once you get to that point, now we're spending money to have them demolished. I would prefer to see an expedited and facilitated renovation program. So permitting and such through our planning department and building department would be expedited to save our structures, because we're just going to end up with 3 vacant lots here. Or if it's like the church that was recently torn down, redevelopment's going to end up buying it, and the people in Michigan City are going to pay for this there too. Again, if we could facilitate the reconstruction and the saving of our properties through expedited approvals and an expedited process through the building department, I think that would be something where Michigan City could make money as opposed to just spend money getting rid of these derelict properties. Just an idea. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment? Anyone online? All right, closing public comment. Do I hear a motion from the board?
Motion to refer these to the attorney and planning inspection.
Okay,
Support.
and I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. All right, our next order of business is approval of tree removal and acquisition competitive procurement for the federal tree grant. And I will turn this over to Ms. LePage.
Okay, board. So as you know, the city was awarded a $1 million tree grant. Oh God, was it a year or so ago now? Coming before you today as part of that grant would be there's 2 actual RFPs that we're asking for permission to solicit. One is the actual tree removal services for 2025. That's based on the tree inventory that was completed. These are the high-risk trees that need to be removed this year. The consultant and I gave you should have an updated bid packet in front of you, and the update would be the completion of all tree removal and stump removal by December 31st of this year. So I want to make sure you're actually approving the right RFP. And then the second would be for tree procurement and planting this fall. That's another component of the grant. So both of the proposals would be due back before this board on July 16th. The team would then meet and review the RFPs and hopefully award on or about August 4th, unless we call an earlier special Board of Works meeting, just because this is time sensitive to get these completed by the end of this year.
Thank you, Ms. LePage. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Amber, did he mention, I think he said it was like 400 properties or trees identified through the inventory that I'm just trying to figure out the scope.
So are you talking about removal or planting?
Removal.
Okay.
Sounds right.
So it's approximately about 349 trees that would be removed. We've broken it down into 3 zones within the city. And so the contractor could bid on 1 or all 3 of the zones just because it is time sensitive. For procurement and planting, we have a laundry list of trees that we are seeking. And we need to replant in these 3 zones. I'm trying to just remember off the top of my head how many trees were 500. Okay. 500 to actually plant.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the board? No? All right, I will open this item up for public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Hello, it's me again, Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. This has been a long time coming. I think we're all very happy about this. Something I think we should be aware of, though, is that this grant, do we have the money in the bank? I don't think we do. I don't think that's how the grant is distributed. This exact same tree grant has been held up in the city of LaPorte at the federal level, I believe. So I would suggest that somehow the city indemnify itself against incurring any costs due to the grant being either held up or rescinded, because this is a real possibility with what's going on in Washington with the budget cuts. Again, this has affected our neighboring city of LaPorte directly. Their tree grant was held up. I don't know how we could protect ourselves against the same thing happening, but it's, I think, something the Board of Works should be aware of. And again, if there's any way to indemnify the city against incurring liability for these costs due to the grant being held up, I think that'd be a pretty wise clause to add to the contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any comments online? I will close public comment. Do we have any other questions or comments from the board?
I just have one question or one comment. I wasn't involved in this meeting, but it's my understanding that the representative, our local regional USDA rep, because it's a pass-through grant, has met with the city to assure the city that we are still on track for this funding. And our consultant has been working with it. So to the best of our knowledge here, everything is still in place for the city and this grant. But it's a good point because we've been worried about it internally.
Just to give you a little bit heads up, we did address that, and LaPorte's grant was not quite the same as ours, first of all. And we have been still submitting and receiving. So we're still active and we're working proactively to actually try to get funds pre-approved. So we're thinking of all those things, but thank you.
That is very good to hear. Thank you. All right. Do we hear a motion? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve the RFPs for the removal and the procurement.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well.
Mm.
All right, our next order of business, the Michigan City, I'm sorry, do what?
Can you hear me now?
Do we need to redo that motion? Or will it suffice? I heard it.
The motion was made by Ms. Moore, seconded by Ms. Smith.
Yep. All right, our next order of business, the Michigan City Fire Department is requesting to open nominations for the Democratic position on the Fire Merit Commission.
Good
Chief
afternoon,
Taylor.
Chief Taylor, Michigan City Fire Department. Yes, our Democrat, the firefighters pick for the Fire Merit Commission, the Democrat pick, has made his intent known to resign effective immediately, but he's willing to stay until we find somebody to put in place. So with that, we would like to open the nominations up for Democratic pick for the firefighters pick.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board or comments from the board? No? Any questions or comments from the public?
Yes, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. It says just an honor serving with Mike Nyla for 15 months. I was on the Fire Merit Commission. He's a really great guy. Wish him all the best. Thank you.
Yes, he is. Any other public comment? All right, public comment is closed. And do we make a motion on this? Make a motion to open until our next meeting?
Yes, and our clerk has already prepared the notice to be posted in all the fire stations. So we would receive nominations up to the time of our meeting and the board formally closing the same.
Okay, so our next meeting is scheduled July 7th at 9 a.m., correct? Or 8:30
8:30.
a.m. All right. So do we have a motion from the board to open for nominations?
Motion to open up the nominations for Democratic position for the Fire Merit Commission.
Support.
All right, we'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Our next order of business, the Michigan City Street Department is requesting the approval of professional services from Clark Environmental Mosquito Management, Inc. for their environmental mosquito management program in the amount not to exceed $7,169. Do we have anybody here to speak to that? Mr. Kelly? I see you getting up back there.
Good evening, Brett Kelly, Director of the Vector Control Department. Pretty self-explanatory. It's not to exceed $7,169. The initial spray, and that will be before the 4th of July. From there on, the city will assume spraying for the mosquitoes. What we're going to spray is called Duet. It's approved by the EPA. We have the mechanisms, the machines to spray. And we're going to do, I think that's going to be when this application starts. We'll do 3 applications for the remainder.
Thank you. Do you have any questions or comments from the board?
When does this program begin and what's the timeline?
Well, we're going to start the first spray, the initial spray. Clark is going to do that. That will be before the 4th of July holiday.
Okay.
Then we spray again here. And this is all weather permitting, of course. It can't be. And then we're going to spray in, we're going to enter that. There's going to be two more sprays for the duration, and the last spray will be September. Labor Day period.
So 3 sprays total or 4
Sorry.
sprays? 3 sprays total or 4?
It'll be 4 sprays.
Okay.
We're doing.
You guys are doing 3.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Right.
Correct.
Mr. Kelly, can you refresh my memory? Is it that the state changed the requirements for spraying? Is that what happened, or did we get
Yes,
certified sprayers?
The Environmental Protection Agency and then the Indiana Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, as well as the feds and the state allow us to do this now.
Meaning allow the city to do
Yes,
our
ma'am.
own spraying. So the reason why we use Clark to begin with is,
Well, Mayor wanted them to do the initial spray.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're going to take it over from there.
Are these sprays done in the evenings, early mornings?
To my understanding, it'll be done in the evenings.
Mhm.
It's all going to be weather permitted, of course, you know.
Permitted, yeah. Okay.
so just for my information, how does the spraying process work? Does
It's going to be a mist.
you drive down the street and
That is
it's coming
correct.
out the sides of the
We'll have,
mister, or?
we'll have a truck and it's going to be a mist and it's going to come out of the back of the truck. It's a machine that's set up, we put on the back of the truck
Mhm.
and it sprays.
It says 86 miles of, is that correct?
Yes.
Around the-
It better be because that's
It's
what's
like
happening.
How long does that take?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay. Okay.
I think Clark Mosquito, that company was a company we previously used with the
Yes,
city to
that-
do.
That is correct.
And now, whether required to be certified or not, the city is now able to do so without using.
Right, you used to have a license to do it, but again, state and fed said that we do not have to have a license to spray.
Did they previously do 4 applications like
Yes.
we're doing now? Do we have a cost, just a point of reference for?
Well, this year we had budgeted like $18,000 for.
That's what it was
Yeah,
before?
and,
Okay.
so he's within his budget to
About-
do the 1 application.
Yes, now this initial spray should not exceed $7,169.
Which means it could be less. Any other questions or comments from the board? No? All right, I'll open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment on this matter? Any public comment? Any comments online? All right, I will close public comment. Do we have any other comments from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Thank you. All right, our next order of business, the Michigan City Police Department is requesting to close 7th Street between Franklin Street and Washington Street for their annual National Night Out event on August 5th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we have Chief Corley here.
Good evening, board. Yes, Marty Corley, Chief of Police, Michigan City Police Department. We submitted the event form reference the closing of the street. Also, you should have got a copy of the approval from the Redevelopment Commission to allow us to use the 2 lots in between 7th Street. This will be our 2nd year in a row using it at that location. We also had our emergency event plan also submitted. I don't know if you have any other questions. We're expecting probably approximately 500 people. Last year we had about 200 to 300, so we're hoping at least double.
Sounds good. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? No? No questions or comments? Do we have any questions or comments from the audience? Or I'm
Yeah.
opening it up for public comment.
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolavic from 1316 Ohio Street. You know, every year they've had this, they've had it on a Tuesday night, they had the same night of a city council meeting. So maybe they can move to the Monday before or the Wednesday after. I know when they have the city councilman, there's supposed to be a police officer here in the council chambers, and when they have the national night on the same night, they can't have the police officers down here. He wasn't here last year when they had it, so you think you ought to have this moved to either the Monday before or the Wednesday after, is my comment. Thank you.
Oh, did you have public comment? Sorry, I was gonna address.
Go ahead, Chief.
All right. So, police operations still exists, even though we have National Night Out. So there's police officers out. There will be one here at the council meeting if National Night is out. But this is a national night, so it's done all over America on the first Tuesday of August, except in Texas because of the heat. It's the first Tuesday in October. So that's why we didn't really pick the date. It's a national event. We keep in line with the national event. There's also what they do is they actually cities kind of compete with their events. So this year we're actually entering the competition to see if we can win some type of award or recognition for our event to get more national attention. So that's the reason why we have it that day.
Scott Mellon, fan of the police, 200 Kenwood Place. This is a great event. I'm sure as the board, we wholly endorse this. I just wanted to come up here and say, one, it was a great time last year. Good hamburger, good SWAT. I got a swatter. The swatter was good. Got some other swag. But our 7th Street Plaza is where these events should take place, in my opinion. So by all means, I think we should let the police use our municipal plaza for this national night out. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any other comments from the board? Questions? All
Motion to approve.
Support.
right, I will call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next order of business is a road closure. Gluth Brothers Roofing is requesting to block off parking spaces or parking space and the sidewalk at East 10th Street and Spring Street during the roof replacement project at 909 Spring Street for crane use from June 17th, 2025 to June 27th, 2025 between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. Welcome.
Hi, Joy, Gluth Brothers Roofing. Like you said, we're doing a roof replacement at 909 Spring Street. We need to utilize our crane to set up and tear down materials. So intermittently, actually through the 18th, it's maybe pushed back to Wednesday, we're hoping to start. Through the following Friday, the 27th, we will need to block off some parking spaces and the sidewalk, either along East 10th Street or along Spring Street, depending on which portion of the building we're working on. It would only be needed from probably 7 a.m. to noon. It wouldn't be every day, so.
Okay. You said it's been pushed back to the 18th?
Yeah, we anticipate hopefully starting on Wednesday, the 18th, yeah. And this will be weather permitting also.
Right.
Okay.
Do you have any questions from the board? No? Madam Clerk, their COIs and everything are in order. They do plenty of work. They know. Mm-hmm. All right, I will open this up for public comment. Do you have any public comment? Any public comment? Anything online? All right, I will close public comment. Any other questions or comments or a motion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
All right, I will call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Joy. All right, our next order of business, Queen of All Saints is requesting to amend their original request for their parish procession on Sunday, June 22nd, 2025 at 3 p.m. to a new route. And do we have Chief Corley here?
Yes, just wanted to advise, spoke with Captain Jesse prior to this meeting, and he wanted me to advise the board that everything is good with MCPD in order for this event to go on. So we have it covered with whatever support that they need.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions or comments from the board? I say, and they were previously approved for their procession. I can't remember what meeting, but they came in front of the board and had all their things in order. So, all right, I will open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Any comments online? All right, in closing public comment, any other questions or comments or a motion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
All right, I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. All right, our next order of business is an updated request form, and it's a request for approval of updated Board of Works general request form. And I will turn this over to Madam Clerk.
So this request form, I apologize, I think it might be in the back of your packets. It was, since we had updated the event intake form, I updated this one to be just more of a general inquiry form so that people weren't filling out as many request forms when they're trying to fill out a thing for events. So this kind of allowed it to kind of create more space at the bottom and specify whether they wanted a stop sign, a street sign, things of that sort.
So you just added more options on the original form to get a little bit more information when they're filling it out.
Yes, yes. And then I just took away the road closure for special event box on it because they're already doing the special event road closure request form.
It looks really good. All right, do we have any other questions or comments from the board?
Mm-mm.
No. Do you have any other, or do we have, I'm going to open this up for public comments. Do we have any public comments on this item? Any public comment? All right, I will close public comment. And any other questions or comments from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I will call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Right, our next order of business is a request for approval and ratification of Mayor Angie Nelson Deitch's execution for the proposal and installation agreement with Wayne Mechanical to replace the HVAC cooling tower in the amount of $102,000 and $905, excuse me, no cents. So $102,905. And that is all. Attorney LePage.
Okay. So back on May 30th of this year, the pipe that holds all of the water that circulates all the various air conditionings, it burst. So Wayne Mechanical was immediately called out here to assist. At that time, it was also discovered that our cooling tower was leaking and needed to be replaced as soon as possible. Tim Wilson, our building maintenance, reached out to try to get quotes to replace the cooling tower. He reached out to Gann Mechanical, Circle R, and Wayne Mechanical. Circle R did not respond. Gann indicated that they did not have the labor resources right now to even assist the city with this. Then, of course, Wayne Mechanical responded with a proposal and installation agreement in the amount of $102,905. Due to the emergency circumstance, the mayor executed this agreement on May 30th, 2025. At this time, I'm requesting that the board make the finding that one, an emergency existed pursuant to Indiana Code 36-1-12-19, namely the cooling tower was leaking and needed to be replaced on an urgent basis. The city invited quotes from at least 3 persons known to deal in the work required. The law only requires us to seek 2 quotes, but we went and tried to seek 3. Wayne was the only one that submitted the attached quote, and due to the emergency, the mayor executed the proposal. I'm now asking the board to ratify this and also to inform the board that mayor is seeking an additional appropriation ordinance out of our rainy day fund for this purchase. And the first reading is set to occur on said ordinance tomorrow.
Thank you. All right, and do we have any questions or comments from the board on this matter?
I would just say that our city's building is pretty old, as is our heating and cooling system. So Tim works very hard to try to maintain it. And I'd like to be cool in the summer while we working in here, so I hope
True.
we can get this ratified.
Agreed. All right, I will open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. What we really need is a brand new city hall. Now, I always found this facility to be exceptionally outdated. It opened in 1979 when Joe LaRocco was the mayor. And when it opened, it was supposed to double both city hall and a civil defense shelter. Every time I walk in, I get a feeling like I'm walking to like a nuclear fallout shelter, a concrete bunker or something. And I kind of feel bad for the people that got to work here. Just look at all the cables we all screwed around. You get a nice modernized building. So, maybe model after some of the other city halls like we have, like maybe in Carmel or Fishers, one of the other, where all the rich people live. Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. I would thank Attorney LePage for the explanation of why there weren't competitive bids. And in fact, this is an emergency repair that's already taken place, it sounds like. So this is sort of like closing the barn door after the horse got out. So we pretty much have to approve this. I find City Hall just fine, especially with the brand new roof. It's frankly an office building. There's nothing state of the art in office buildings. I think it's good enough. It was good enough for my dad, it was good enough for my granddad, and dang it, it's good enough for me today, especially with the new cooling tower. But should this broke city, who just reduced his budget by 10%, just have an extra $50 million or so to burn, then by all means, let's get ourselves a new city hall, because that'd be pretty. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comments?
Tim Werner, city engineer. I just couldn't resist Scott's comment about the barn door closing. Well, actually, Scott, what happened is the horse died and we got a new one and then closed the door.
Excellent analogy. Do we have any other public comment? Anything online? All right, I will close public comments. Do we have any other questions or comments from the board? I would just like to say I appreciate the fact that extra bids were solicited to make sure we were spending the money as wisely as possible. And a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I will call for the roll. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Our next order of business is Andrew Metanek, IT Director, is requesting the approval of the amended ongoing intra-ID and Intune for management contract in the amount not to exceed $17,700. Andy is here.
Hi, good afternoon. Andrew Metanek, Information Technology. Back in April this year, I came in front of you for approval for the contract with Agile IT for an upgrade to our cloud infrastructure configuration, so forth. Like I mentioned before, the last time this was really addressed was almost 13 years ago. We had a meeting. I had a meeting with the engineers from Agile IT. The engineers that were in this meeting were not the ones who put together the original contract. The engineers that after our meeting about 3 weeks ago decided that we needed to basically tighten up our scope of work to have it more clearly defined, because we had planned on a concept of where we're just going to configure different things, and then I'm going to go ahead and build upon that. And so we're going to get like one working piece, and then I have to do it about another 450 times after. And it's not for them to have to do it 450 times, because then it'd be a couple $100,000 contract. And so that is the purpose of coming back today, is because we modified the contract. The contract was signed originally in April by the Board of Works, but never executed, never signed by Agile IT. And so I asked them, with what the narrowing of the scope of work, the clarification, here's another contract. And then if you consider this and this is approved, then we'll go back to Agile IT, have another kickoff meeting. Then we can finally get this project underway. Probably about, if you were to approve it today, probably about 4 to 8 weeks before we have it completed. And so we'll be meeting probably on a weekly basis with about 20 to 30 hours a week worth of work to at least get this started. So.
Go ahead.
So the contract amount didn't change?
I'm sorry.
The contract amount did not change from the original contract? We're just changing the scope of work?
just changing the scope of work. The price is going to stay exactly the same. It's going to be, that hasn't changed at all. It's just basically excluding a few things that are kind of a given but weren't noted in the contract. The price is still going to remain 17,700. Basically the onboarding for some of the different components, were narrowed down to just one particular instance and not 450 instances, just to get clarification for that. But we're doing exactly the same thing. It's just a way to for Agile IT, just we have a better understanding of what both parties' responsibilities are going to be.
And then my second question is the changes that occur on the back end. We, as a user,
You're not going to notice anything if everything goes well. You won't notice anything. So if it doesn't, you'll definitely know. So
That was going to be my question. Do we have any questions or comments from the board? All right, just again, to reiterate, before I open this up for public comment, this is the same exact amount that was approved by this board back in April. It's just the scope of work and the contract that's changed, which is why it needs to come back to the board. All right, so I will open this up for public comment. Do we have any comments from the public on this matter? Any public comment? Anyone online? I will close public comment and bring it back to the board. Do we have any other board questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, our next order of business, the Michigan City Police Department is requesting the special purchase of a 2025 Ford Police Interceptor SUV from ESU Pursuance in the amount of $52,500 after the government discount of $7,300. Chief Corley?
Good evening again, board. Yes, the price we'll be paying is $52,500. That's with the $7,300 government discount on the vehicle. It's fully installed, has all emergency lights, everything we need in the vehicle. Traditionally, we have been able to start buying vehicles from dealerships with it fully equipped. So this one is fully equipped with the government discount involved in it without us having to buy the vehicle, then get it equipped and get it out. So
Thank you, Chief. Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Chief, did we purchased other vehicles earlier this year, right?
yes, we just purchased 8 other
So this will be
vehicles.
9.
Yep. So this will be 9.
Okay, thanks.
And this is allocated in their budget, so it's covered from the controller's office standpoint.
Yes.
Yes.
You're okay. I knew somebody was going to ask, though. All right, do we have any other board comments or questions? All right, I will open this up for public comments. Do we have any question or any comments from the public? Any comments from the public?
Hello, Scott Mellon, 200 Kilman Place. I know we all support the police, but as Chief just said, they just replaced 8 vehicles. This is a 9th. I sort of don't understand why we have this reflexive genuflecting to everything the police want. Do we, what is the inventory of vehicles right now? What's their average age? What's the replacement cycle? Are we just buying it because we feel we got a good deal for it? I mean, the police come before us quite often asking for permission to buy new stuff. And it's like, what's the order to this? Is there I mean, again, I don't understand. I haven't had a new car in a long time. They have a lot of new vehicles. I don't see any old raggedy vehicles in the police lot. I don't, Chief.
Well, if you want to come take a ride along, I got about 10 of them on the street now that you can ride in or not.
I've asked for a ride along. I'll take you up on that. But anyway, I know we're going to approve this, but we reflexively say yes pretty much to the police whenever they ask for anything. And I think we need to question that, frankly, that attitude, as much as we support the police. And recently they have had a slate of good work. Mega kudos on that special enforcement detail you had over Memorial Day weekend. Highly effective, fantastic work, but I don't think they need a new car to do it. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Sorry, Chief.
Yeah, so respect the comments by Mr. Mellon, but we're not buying a vehicle just to be buying a vehicle. We still have a lot of outdated vehicles. We still are driving around in 2012, 2013, 2014 Explorers, which are 10 years old with over 100, 150,000 miles on them that officers are continuing to drive. And then, you know, with that type of wear and tear put on these vehicles at that mileage are going back and forth to central maintenance for them to patch up to put back on the road. So we're not just buying a vehicle to be buying a vehicle because it's out there. We're actually buying a vehicle to replace the ones we have in our fleet. I would say we were in a almost not as bad as, well, this predicament we're in now is not as bad as we were back in 2020, 2021 when we leased a lot of vehicles. That kind of got us out of that bad predicament. But now we're in a predicament of being able to continue with our fleet without continuing those leases because those leases are expensive. So now we're using money to buy out leases, then also replace those vehicles. Kind of same, all the same. The 8 vehicles that we bought before, we could have bought out the lease, but those 8 vehicles were brand new, so they replace what we would have had anyway already. So it's not; those really aren't new vehicles per se. They're just a continuation of what we're using. So we're using our money very wisely in order to buy things. We're not asking for more money than we've budgeted in order to do that. So we're not just buying vehicles to buy them. We are actually buying vehicles that are needed. I mean, we're literally probably have about 8 to 10 more Ford Explorers that are anywhere from 10 to 12 years of age
And
in our
as a,
fleet that we're using.
as a recommended fleet rotation, how long should police vehicles last?
Usually when police vehicles get around the 75,000, 80,000 mile range is when you start seeing your problems. We can traditionally have kept our vehicles prior to what we've gotten into the last couple of years. We traditionally kept them to about either little around 100,000 or more. As you can see, we should traditionally probably replace vehicles every 5 to 6 years. And so with the vehicles that we leased and getting out here, we're getting back to that rotation because of that little time lapse and things going on in the budget then. What we did, we're now getting back to that where we will rotate vehicles out every like 5 to 6 years. It's just going to take us some maneuvering of some funds and using them wisely in order to get the vehicles, owning them instead of leasing them, because we can buy out leases, but you still got to replace, vehicles.
Well, and that's what we
Yeah.
dealt with at the last one.
Yep.
So generally speaking, going into a new year, you know how many vehicles you're trying to get replaced each year, and that goes into your budget, which is approved by the city council in October, but it's only becoming in front of us because we have to approve the contract.
Yes.
So these funds were already approved by the city council back in
Yes.
October after their budget meetings.
Yes. Based on our needs.
So, yeah,
And-
so
and
this is
again-
all budgeted. It's not like there was a great sale for Father's Day you guys saw and you're putting it on the agenda. This is things
Yeah,
you're
yes, and I'm sure Mr. Mellon's comments have been ran through the council, believe me.
Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Is central maintenance or Ford doing most of the maintenance on these vehicles?
Well, because the leases are, because the warranties are up, a majority of the Fords that we do have, central maintenance, it goes through central maintenance, and if it's something that they can't do, then they will send out to Ford. So it's a mix of both. I can tell you that we're at a point now where central maintenance has done a very good job in the years to keep vehicles on the road. But you can only use a 130 mile vehicle for so long before you're going to run into some real problems like the air conditioning going out. I remember when in 2021, when I got in the position of chief operations, we were still running Crown Vics that you couldn't replace stuff with. And even though the Interceptor still made, some of the Interceptors that are there are older Interceptors. So you're looking into those problems where being able to get parts and those type of things. And if you are able to get the parts, they're back, locked because they're not really dealing with 2012, 2013, 2014 parts. They're dealing more to 2025 and up. So.
Do I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next order of business, Ryan Labus, 3606 Dorchester Road is requesting to repair the road at 3606 Dorchester Road. And we have Mr. Labus here.
Hello. Good evening. Speaking of new buildings and such, I thought I made a PowerPoint. I guess I can't plug into, so if it's all right to the chair, I'll just hand my computer so you can get a visual of what I'm talking about. Would that be okay? Approximately 10 years ago, they switched the concrete road right in front of my property at 3606 Dorchester Road in the Village Green neighborhood, and it's become a major issue. The grading of the road has been off for 10 years. I said it the first year when it happened. I first went to the street department. Street department said it was the water department, etc. I've been moved around. As you can see, that's a very light rain. And when the water runs from the south end of Dorchester Road to the north end of Dorchester Road, there's about, I'm not an engineer, so I took a tape measure, about 10 inches on the lip right in front of my property. So the water runs down, it hits the concrete road, which is about 10 inches above, and it runs back. And on a big rain, it'll cover the entire street. Until it gets hot enough to get rid of the water, it's not dispersed. We have a lot of little kids in the neighborhood who like to ride their bikes down the street, just like I did when I was little, and it's not safe for them. And the water is running over the easement. If you go to the last slide, Mr. Simmons, is my curb there? There is no curb. It's disintegrated from the water that's gotten in there over the years, and it's repaired. I've left a number of messages for Mr. Warner. I have not received any callbacks. I'm kind of getting word that there's not a lot of budgeting, which I understand, either in this year or next year, but as a resident, taxpayer, and overall safety of all the kids in our neighborhood, I'd like to see something done with the road because it looks like it's easy fix. A couple of my college fraternity brothers are engineers, and it looks like we just need a storm sewer put in, probably right where it connects at my property would be the easiest fix. I know regrading would probably be a very expensive thing to do the whole street, but my yard or the easement and my neighbors across the street, because it's happening on both sides, the water from the entire street runs down and then it runs over the curbs. So someone told me to come to the Board of Works and explain what's going on, and hopefully I'm hoping you guys can help us out here.
Well, you're in the right place.
So I don't know what the next steps are. Can I email you my PowerPoint, each of you? Is that okay? Be great.
If you send it to Isabel can send it out to us. I know we have Engineer Warner here who has checked the situation out. Did you want to, we're going to get you up here.
Yeah. Sometimes you experience this because as a city lay new asphalt down, they don't grind the old asphalt down far enough, which creates a pooling over times.
I was unaware of any flooding issues here. My understanding was it was a roadway pavement issue. I looked at the roadway. There is no pavement issue there. The concrete pavement meets the asphalt pavement right in front of his house. That's true. I know there was a curb that was damaged there. The street department fixed that last year. The fix didn't continue to exist over the winter. So I talked to Sean, and he's going to work on replacing the curb section in front of his house. As far as the flooding issue, if you send me that information to what you've got there in that PowerPoint and take a look at that. But I mean, I've never heard from any other neighbors of any flooding issue on Dorchester, but I'll take a look at it. We'll talk to the sanitary district, see if they can get a storm sewer design up to kind of fix this situation here. But that's what we can do at this point. So,
Thank you.
any questions? Thanks.
Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I didn't know if I wouldn't say it's a flooding issue. It's just the water doesn't roll to the sewer. It just goes across the street and it's just there until it's not there and it warms up. Sometimes when we have rain for 2 or 3 days, it goes further and further back. So I don't know if that's my issue.
I will say from a municipal engineering standpoint, we'd rather see water stored on the road than water stored in people's basements. So, I mean, that's something that the city of Chicago has done with limiting the inlets that come in. So we store more water, stormwater. Rain events are getting more and more occurrence and higher intensity. So we know there's going to be issues with stormwater in the city, and we have to look at that. But we'd rather have the water at this point stand on the road and be stored there until the sewers are able to take it, rather than in people's basements. So.
Ms. Smith, did you have?
I mean, how long have you lived there?
My wife has owned the property for 20 years. We've
So,
been together for
Always done that, or is it
just
just?
since the regrading. The grading is the major issue. You don't have to be have an engineering background. You come and stand in front of my house, in front of the mailbox, you're about 10 inches below the road. And so when that water runs, it just runs there and it just pools and it just sits and sits and sits. And
Well, and
I respect that it's okay pooling, but if this was in front of your house or that water, we got kids out there, and I don't want my kid or other kids, especially little ones, getting hurt going through water that's 3-4 inches deep on a road that we've neglected that it's okay to sit at.
Well, and the history was Village Green had the concrete roadways for a very, very long time until the city went in and tried to replace it.
Sure. I was the lucky one right in front of my house is where it's just where it's meet. It's, if anyone wants to come by, it's 3606 Dorchester Road. It's on both of my neighbor across the street as well. But you can see that, I mean, it's just lower. And so that water runs all the way down the south end of the street, all the way to the north end. So I would appreciate if we could maybe look at a drain or some kind of fix, because if you can see the curb at the end, on my last slide, it's totally fixed last year. It's totally disintegrated. I mean, there's literally no curb.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
For sure. Any other questions or comments from the board? No, Engineer Werner's got a comment?
Yeah, I'll take a look at this with Al Wallace, Sanitary District Stormwater Engineer, and we'll see if we can come up with an issue. Like I said, I haven't heard of any flooding issues on the roadways before this. I thought it was a roadway pavement issue. So we'll take a look at it and try to get some kind of resolution.
Yeah. Thank you. I will open this up for public comment. Do we have any public comment? Any public comment on the matter? Anybody online? All right, I'm closing public comment and bring it back to the board. Do we want to make a recommendation to table it until our next meeting?
Is the next meeting sufficient for you, Mr. Warner, to review?
You've got an extra. Yeah, you've got an extra Monday. All right, so we'll motion to table until 7/7 at 8:30 in the morning.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I guess I just made the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. I'm not used to sitting here. All right, our next order of business, agreement from Fisk Enterprises LLC, the City of Michigan City, Indiana, and the Michigan City Area Schools regarding the Brandon Fisk Family Fun Day.
Hello, Board. Eric Williams.
Excuse me, right in. Fisk. Sorry.
Michigan City Special Events. Yeah, first off, I just want to apologize for bringing this to you guys so late in the game. This has come together very quickly, and as we try to get everything turned in properly, this has come up. In order to get everybody covered properly with the insurance information, we were advised that we would probably be best suited to do an MOU between the three parties. Once we are able to get all of the insurance information, we will be able to get all COIs filed and submitted, but that's really the point of it, is to make sure that we're able to get the insurance information correct.
All right, thank you. And do we have any questions or comments from the board? What day is this again?
It is going to be Saturday, June 28th, 1 o'clock at Ames Field.
Thank you. All right, no comments or questions from the board. I'll open it up for public comment.
Yeah, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street again. I'm really excited for this. I've been watching Braden play football since he was in the 3rd grade. He's just, I think this will be, I might put him in for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award for this. I think this would be a great thing. And this is the day we used to have the Drum and Bugle Corps show every year, so maybe this can become an annual event. You know, they moved the Drum and Bugle Corps show down to Muncie, so I'm just looking forward to seeing Braden again. And I think it's going to be a really good time for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Anything online? All right, I'm closing public comment. Bring it back to the board. Do we have any other questions, comments, or a motion?
I even watch him play.
Really?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I will call for the roll. Jean,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next order of business is our payroll claims docket, June 13th.
Motion to approve.
Support.
We'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Our next order of business is the claims docket for June 16th.
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Told you I'm not used to being here. All right, and we will move on to our unfinished business. A request for a stop sign. Colin Kahn, 716 York Street, is requesting a stop sign or a crossing button on the corner of Oak Street and Belden Street to allow children and pedestrians to cross safely. This was tabled on April 21st, 2025. I know we've had a couple of conversations about this since then.
I was yawning.
Oh, Mr. Warner, did you have any updates for us?
The last time we had a meeting, Sean Smith was going to order signs similar to what's at Queen of All Saints for the crossing. I don't know if that's been done yet. I haven't gone over there, and Sean hasn't been able to get in touch with me today, but I'll report back at the next Board of Works meeting whether those signs are up or not.
Okay.
Okay.
So we want to make a motion to table this until our next meeting.
Motion to table till July 7th meeting.
Support.
I will call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. We will revisit this on 7/7. Our next order of business is Breja Walker. Did I pronounce that correctly? Breja Walker, fire truck number 5, is requesting the approval of a mobile food vendor license for 1 year. Her truck will be conducting business at 1801 Franklin Street. This was tabled on June 2nd for COI issues. And those have all been taken care of.
I believe it was the location of the truck as well as COI issues.
Okay,
And COI has been approved by our insurance, so we are good.
okay. And do we have any updates about location? No. I'm sorry, I had missed the last meeting. So what was? Okay.
Yeah, with the zoning, she was not approved zoning wise for her mobile food vendor license.
We
So
have no updates yet.
no, and I
Okay.
know that Dominique was working with her on some possible other locations. And I just have not gotten an update
about that.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Come on up.
Would you like me to, Wendy Vashade, Public Works Director? Let me just comment on this one real quick. I know there were a couple of mobile food vendor applications over the last month or two that needed to be reviewed. So Dominique is out of the office this week. She has been communicating back and forth with the applicant to see if she can find an appropriate location for this young woman, and they just have not reached a final conclusion on that yet. So
Do you
I just wanted to
recommend
provide that.
tabling this until our next meeting?
I would table this to see if they can they can find an appropriate location so she can move forward.
Sounds good. Thank
Okay.
you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Do we have any public comment on this matter?
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. This is obviously going to be denied. She's right across the street from local option bar, and she's right across the Taste of Mexico, and she's right down next door to a crispy, crunchy chicken in the Verks gas station. You can't be 300 feet less from another other food establishment. I'd really like I know that it's really nice they're having the food trucks on the Pullman Park on Wednesdays. I'd like to maybe have a permanent place on the west side for them to come. And so we all know there would be no problem with the 300-foot rule on the west side, guaranteed. And I used to go back and forth with Ramir about this. We don't have nothing on the west side. He said, well, Tommy, it's not about it. We just don't have it. I said, they got to make money. The business owners can't make any money. I don't believe that. I think they could do really well over there. There's a restaurant called Frankie's, kind of right in the middle of the hood. People line up to go there. I mean, it's. I think they would do really good there if they find a spot on the west side. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Wonder if we should just deny it now, and if she comes up with a new place, if they do, then she resubmits, or is that better to table it for a moment? I don't really know the best way.
It's just a matter of refilling out all the paperwork and the resubmittal. So I think we were trying to give her a chance just to change the location to make it easier on her so she doesn't have to resubmit everything. But I'd give it one more meeting at least to give her an opportunity to just try to give us an alternative location. But it's up to you. You could deny and just have it all resubmitted as well.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that table it until our next meeting, to be fair.
Support. All right, I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
And chair votes aye as well. We'll revisit this on 7/7. Our next order of business is Dennis and Jean Guzman, 1101 Pine Street, are requesting one parking space at 1101 Pine Street for their tenant to park on the street. This was tabled at our June 2nd meeting. Mr. Warner is coming up to the microphone begrudgingly.
Tim Warner, city engineer. I met with the Guzmans at their rental property there at Pine and 11th Street. There's really not enough room, and there's a high power NIPSCO pole that was put in for the new train station work that needed to be done. It's right in front of their place. If we go to the property line, there's maybe 18 feet between that pole and the property line with the adjacent business there to the south. We could develop a space there for that particular unit, but I don't know how we would ever be able to enforce that as a resident parking only. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. The police don't have the time. Nobody else has the time. With the parking garage and the ground-based parking for the train station and all the parking lots all over in the area, there's plenty of parking in that neighborhood, just not right there on Pine Street. There's an apartment building across the street on the east side. They've got 3 spaces that they use, so those are always full. The mechanic shop and body work and that they do, and that next door, they've got cars there all the time, and they're gonna be there. the Guzman said, well, can we restrict it after a certain time? Well, again, that's police enforcement, and we'd be enforcing parking limitations for one resident in town. And I don't know if that's a road that the Board of Works wants to go down.
Well, and the thing,
Yes, I don't know if that's doable.
yeah, you start it with one, then it's everything.
Yeah,
It's
there,
unfortunately.
just to the west of this apartment building, there's the parking lot on grade that was the old flooring and carpeting place that was there in the corner. Nick D owns that. The contractor's been using that space for parking. That the Guzmans may be able to work out a deal with them to have that first space against the sidewalk immediately west as a parking space. I mentioned that to them, and then so anyway, I recommend that we not approve this and move on.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments from the board?
Motion to deny.
Second.
Call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. And our next order of business, Chad Norman, 2208 Normandy Drive, is requesting either a stop sign, yield sign, or don't block business sign at the entrance to the gas station on Cleveland Avenue, just north of Paz Road, due to cars backing up both on Cleveland Ave and Paz Road. And this was also tabled on June 2nd.
I went and investigated after the last meeting when Chad was here. There is a sign on the westbound approach at Paz to Cleveland that says "Do not block driveway." It's not a huge sign. It's there. Again, we could make that sign whatever size we want. People are going to block that intersection when classes are getting out, and it's an enforcement issue that the police are never going to be able to do. It's up to the niceness of a person that's there to stop and open up and let people drive into the gas station off Paz Road. I would stop and let somebody in, but not everybody is that way. And the police are never going to be able to enforce this. My recommendation, what does the board think?
Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Motion to deny.
Support.
We'll call for the roll. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
and chair votes aye as well. Thank you.
You.
All right. Our next order of business is public comment. We'll open it up for public comment.
Yes, Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. When you meet 3 weeks from today, you're gonna have your demolition hearing on 408 West 11th Street. That guy hasn't done nothing with that place. I see you just need to have that, tear that down. This is just gonna be another ice cream parlor like fiasco like we had with 111 Franklin Street years ago. It's just gonna keep going on and on. We just can't have any of those. There are statutes about vacant structures like that. I might read that when you have this hearing. Thank you.
Hello, Scott Melantur and County Place. Concerning Paz Road and is that Cleveland? One of the interesting things about that whole left turn situation, particularly in Cleveland, is that we have a center turn lane there that apparently isn't striped to allow people turning east onto Paz to go into the turn lane. People are often turning from the traffic lane onto Paz Road, not using the center turn lanes there. I'm wondering if the engineer or somebody could maybe take a look at how the striping is done on Cleveland and that intersection to maybe make it clear that, yes, if you're turning left onto Paz Road, you should do it from the turning lane. The arrows, it's confusing for people. Tim, will you look at that, Tim? Tim? Come on, Tim. Pass the buck. Bureaucrat. You must have worked for the state of Indiana at one point. On a more serious matter, and something I want to bring to the board's attention, I've spoken about the flock cameras in the past. As you all know, we've had 30 for a couple of years, and I don't know where we stand in our latest grant that Congressman Mervan got us for an additional 30. I think I've seen some new cameras going up, so I think we might be headed to our full complement of 60 cameras. And I know they've been an important tool for the police, but in the last couple of weeks, there've been a couple headlines. One of which is a Texas cop, he was actually a sheriff, not a cop, used 83,000 cameras to track down a woman he was looking for. He accessed our cameras. We're part of that nationwide database. So it turns out Flock has 83,000 cameras across 6,809 different networks. We would be one of those networks, our 30 to 60 cameras. Chief Corley has spoken in the past that, hey, we're not tracking you. We can't just access it willy-nilly. We need to enter a reason. This sheriff entered a reason, which was basically woman. Let me see if I can find it. It's hard to do this and do this at the same time. But he did put in the search term. Had an abortion, searched for female. Those were his search terms to access the Flock system. And this is something I've warned about in the past, that yes, it is an important tool for the police, but this warrantless surveillance of the population at large can be used against we, the people, doing legal things, not just illegal things. And this is something I want to bring to the board's attention because I know we have fully endorsed the Flock camera system in our town. We were part of this national headline. And I don't know if any of you realize that, but that's real. And that's something we need to be aware of. I'm wholly against surveilling the population, mass surveillance. This is warrantless mass surveillance of the people. And yes, Mr. Simmons, I understand that driving is a privilege, not a right, and we have no expectation of privacy in public. But there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference when all your travels are being essentially tracked for 30 days. We don't have to have a 30-day database. We don't have to be part of the nationwide search. We can close our database for those things if we don't want our data being misused by perhaps less well-run organizations. Thank you.
You're done. Tim Werner, city engineer. Regarding an earlier statement by Scott, we have a Federal Highway Administration Safe Streets for All grant we received last year. It's to do a traffic safety action plan. So through that, we just had the kickoff meeting last month. We're still waiting to get our agreement with Federal Highway. It should happen this week. We're looking at intersections all over the city that I've seen as safety issues. I'll see if we can throw this POS Cleveland into that as well to have our consultant, when we select them, to throw that into the pile and see what they come up with. I don't think it's a big issue, but it's possibly a safety concern being that close to the high school and recent drivers. I know both of my daughters, when they were in high school there, they both totaled out their little cruddy cars by sliding off POS Road. So I get it. I know it can be an issue there with new drivers. So we'll add that to the list of the Safe Streets for All safety action plan.
Thank you.
And for Mr. Mellon, I just want him to know that he's going to have to treat stop signs as stop signs now after his discussion tonight instead of yield signs.
Do we have any other public comment? Any public comment? Anything online? All right, closing public comment. Open it up for board comments.
I have one question, Mr. Werner. Only, I know it was addressed before, but I don't remember exactly what the course of action was with the yellow striping that disappeared, dissolved. I know that they were going to do something
On
about,
Tilden and Harrison Streets.
well,
Yeah.
all over. There's lots of
Well,
places.
the ones from the construction last year that were
Yes.
peeled off right away, Tilden and Harrison have been redone.
And
Those were just redone this past week.
Barker, I think Barker Road was not Barker Road, Barker.
That I'll have to look into.
Because all of that yellow stripe, that was redone, I believe, and
It was redone in last year's contract too. They probably have redone that. I was only aware of Harrison and Tilden, but I'll look at Barker as well.
okay, because I don't think the striping's been redone.
There's a lot of striping that needs to be done in the city. I'd like to see in front of the library restriped after the Franklin two-way. It's kind of a free-for-all there in front of the library. So
Okay.
there's a lot of places like that. I know the street department had their striping equipment down, so they were getting it fixed. I don't know where that's at yet. I just talked with Sean last week about it, and he thought it was going to be fixed this week. But,
Gotcha.
okay.
Thank you.
Anything else from any? Okay, thank you.
That striping, that's High Star?
Yes. Yeah.
Any other board comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.